What if every photo could unlock a secret, a story lost to time? This is Timeless Focus, where the past comes to life. Subscribe, hit the bell, and enjoy the video. At first glance, Funny George seems like any other circus clown, ready to entertain and bring laughter. But there is something unsettling about this image. The eerie stillness of the scene, the vacant look behind the painted smile. Clowns have long walked the fine line between comedy and fear. In early circuses, performers like George weren't just there to make people laugh. There was something darker beneath the makeup. His exaggerated expression feels almost too forced, too unnatural, as though the mask he wears hides something more sinister. This photo of Funny George captures more than just a moment of entertainment. It leaves us with a feeling that something is not quite right. The smile, the costume, the setting, all pieces of a puzzle that hint at something far more mysterious and unsettling about the circus world. The unsettling smile of this clown lingers, a figure from a time where amusement often mixed with fear. But the circus was filled with more than just clowns. There were others, equally strange, equally captivating. Let's take a look at the next extraordinary figure who called the circus home. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't miss out on the eerie, fascinating stories we uncover in every video. Stay with us for more. This image, frozen in time, captures a man whose very presence defied society's expectations. Known on the sideshow circuit as a living marvel, he turned his body, one others might have pitied, into a symbol of resilience and strength. In the world of the early 1900s, where differences were often viewed with fear or curiosity, the circus offered something else, a stage. For performers like him, the sideshow wasn't just a livelihood. It was a rare opportunity to take control of the narrative, to be celebrated rather than shunned. Look closely at his expression. It's not one of shame or apology. He stands with confidence, his gaze direct, as if daring the world to look at him not with pity, but with admiration. He wasn't just a curiosity, he was a star. But behind the bright lights and applause lay a more complicated story. This photograph reminds us of the fine line between wonder and exploitation. For men like him, the applause didn't erase the hardships, it simply masked them. In this haunting image, we glimpse both the extraordinary strength and the quiet suffering of a man who turned his differences into power. A power that still resonates today, long after the circus tents have come down. This photograph captures Myrtle Corbin, famously known as the four-legged girl from Texas. Born in 1868 with a rare condition called diapigus, Myrtle had two pelvises and 4 legs, a physical trait that fascinated audiences. By age 13, she was performing in sideshows, captivating spectators not just with her appearance, but with her charm and poise. In this image, Myrtle sits with a composed expression, dressed in Victorian-era clothing. The sepia tones and ornate backdrop add an eerie, timeless quality to the photo, reflecting the curiosity people had about human oddities at the time. Yet, Myrtle's presence in the image speaks of a woman who embraced her uniqueness, using it not as a limitation, but as a way to empower herself. Outside the sideshow, Myrtle led a full life. She married, had 5 children, and lived with dignity. At a time when people with physical differences were often marginalized, Myrtle turned her condition into a strength, proving that resilience can triumph over adversity. Her image serves as more than a sideshow curiosity. It stands as a testament to Myrtle Corbin's enduring legacy, a woman who defied expectations, lived life on her own terms, and remains a captivating figure in history. In this haunting photo, we meet Pascual Pinon, known in sideshows as the Two-Headed Mexican. Born in the late 1800s, Pascual became a famous figure in traveling circuses, not only because of his incredible condition, but also due to the eerie mystery surrounding it. The story goes that the second head wasn't another person, but actually a large tumor. This tumor was cleverly modified to resemble a human face, creating a chilling illusion that shocked and fascinated circus audiences across America. Imagine seeing Pasquale in person, standing before a stunned crowd, to sets of eyes staring out into the world. The second face, though artificial, added an otherworldly presence, and people couldn't help but be drawn in by the strangeness. Pasquale's life, like many sideshow performers, was complicated. His unique condition turned into a grotesque spectacle, while he lived the hard, often lonely, existence of a traveling showman. There's an underlying tragedy here, as Pasquale's story represents the harsh exploitation of human anomalies during the time. Though many paid to see the man with two heads, few understood the emotional weight carried by the person behind the spectacle. His life blurs the lines between medical anomaly, illusion, and the sad reality of human curiosity pushed to extremes. This image captures a circus performer known as the Dog Man, posed in a way that mimics a canine, showcasing his unique role in the world of early 20th century sideshows. His physical stance, on all fours, highlights both his condition and the persona he adopted to captivate audiences. What makes this image unsettling is not just the unusual pose, but the defiant expression on his face, as if he fully embraced his role in a world that often blurred the lines between spectacle and humanity. In sideshow culture, figures like him were both celebrated and objectified, creating a lasting sense of intrigue and discomfort. This photo invites us to reflect on the nature of performance, identity, and the exploitation that often accompanied such displays. Meet Lionel, famously known as the Lion Face Boy. His life was shaped by hypertrichosis, a rare condition that caused thick hair to grow over his face and body, giving him an almost mythical appearance. With his flowing mane, Lionel's presence was a showstopper, captivating audiences worldwide. Dressed in ornate costumes that only enhanced his wild, lion-like visage, he became a central figure in the world of sideshows and circuses, where performers with unique physical conditions were both celebrated and often exploited. But Lionel was more than just a circus act. His story is a glimpse into a time when curiosity about human oddities filled the tents of traveling shows. For some, it was a fascination. For others, a reminder of how different the world can be. The Lion Face Boy's legacy lives on in photos like this, offering us a window into a past where people like Lionel walked the fine line between spectacle and personhood, celebrated for their uniqueness while living in a world that didn't always understand them. Here, we see the enigmatic Mirandajo, a man whose feet seem straight out of a nightmare. Known for allowing swords to pierce straight through his body, Dia's performances shocked audiences in the 1940s, leaving them in a state of horrified awe. Born Arnold Garrett Hensks, he adopted the name Mirandajo as he embarked on a journey of pushing the boundaries of the human body. His signature act involved standing completely calm while swords and other sharp objects pierced his skin, muscles, and even vital organs without flinching. Medical professionals were left baffled, confirming there was no trickery involved. Dia's bizarre ability to endure such extreme trauma while remaining unharmed made him both a living spectacle and a medical mystery. His performances left a deep impression, not only due to their sheer shock value, but also the unsettling question they pose: just how far can the human body be pushed? Even today, Mirandajo remains a chilling figure in the history of sideshow acts. This is Maurice Tillet, a man whose life took an extraordinary turn when he developed a rare condition known as acromegaly. Born in France in 1903, Tillet was once a handsome young man, but in his 20s, his features began to change dramatically due to this disorder. Acromegaly, caused by an overproduction of growth hormones, led to the thickening of his bones, giving him a distinct, almost mythical appearance. But instead of retreating from the world, Morris embraced his uniqueness and became one of the most famous professional wrestlers of the 1940s, known as the French Angel. His incredible strength and unmistakable look made him a sensation in the ring. What many might not know is that Morris Tillett is believed to have inspired the character of Shrek, the lovable green ogre from the animated films. His unusual features, combined with his kind personality, left a lasting impression that transcended his wrestling career. Morris's story is a reminder that even in a world that often celebrates conventional beauty, it's the uniqueness of individuals like him that truly captivates and inspires. Isaac W. Sprague, known as the Human Skeleton, stands in sharp contrast to the imposing presence of Morris Tillett, the real-life inspiration behind Shrek. While Tillett's broad frame and muscularity commanded the spotlight, Sprague's fragile, skeletal form offered a different kind of shock. Born in 1841, Sprague lived a relatively normal childhood until his teenage years, when his body mysteriously began to waste away, leaving him gaunt and skeletal despite a normal appetite. His appearance, where every bone seemed to be visible beneath a paper-thin layer of skin, gave him a haunting look that fascinated and unnerved circus audiences alike. His condition, still not fully understood in his time, made him a tragic figure, a man whose life was defined by a body that was betraying him, yet a figure so mesmerizing that people couldn't look away. Unlike Tillett, whose size and strength symbolized power, Sprague's frail frame symbolized human fragility and the darker side of nature's unpredictability. Is this Hasbulla from the past? At first glance, you might think so, but this is Charles Stratton, better known as General Tom Thumb. Born in 1838, Charles was discovered at just 5 years old by the legendary showman P.T. Barnum, and from that moment, his life became a whirlwind of fame and spectacle. Standing only 64 centimeters tall, his small stature was a rare condition that made him a living curiosity in the 19th century's obsession with the unusual and extraordinary. But what truly made Charles a star wasn't just his size. It was his charm, wit, and undeniable stage presence. He performed in grand theaters across the world, enchanting audiences with his humor and theatrical skits. He became a sensation, performing for heads of state and even Queen Victoria herself, earning international acclaim. In a time before television and social media, Charles Stratton was a celebrity of his era, pulling crowds wherever he went. His marriage to Lavinia Warren, also a little person, was dubbed the fairy wedding and was one of the most talked about events of the time. Charles was more than a circus performer. He was a pioneer of entertainment, a figure who shaped the very idea of fame long before our modern celebrities. It's hard not to draw comparisons between him and modern internet sensations like Hasbulla, with both figures captivating audiences by turning their unique appearance into a form of art, humor, and magnetism. But while Hasbulla reigns on Instagram and TikTok, Charles ruled the world stage, cementing his legacy as one of the most famous entertainers in history. Imagine seeing two heads, two torsos, but just one body. Jean-Jacques and Jacques Libra, born in 1872, were known as the two-headed man and became a living spectacle across Europe. These conjoined twins shared one lower body, yet each had his own head, arms, and torso, two distinct minds living in one body. Their performances left audiences spellbound as they moved in perfect coordination, each brother retaining his own unique personality and quirks. It wasn't about daring stunts or brute strength. It was the simple act of watching the individuals share one body and navigate a world designed for one that made their act unforgettable. The Libra brothers showed the world that the human spirit and body can adapt to the most extraordinary circumstances, turning their unusual condition into a source of awe and wonder. Their story isn't just about physical difference. It's about how the brothers, forever connected, captivated the world. Not all sideshow stars were born with disabilities. Some, like Rosa Matilda Richter, better known as Zazzle, earned their fame by sheer daring. Imagine being shot out of a cannon at just 14 years old, flying through the air like a missile, with nothing but a net to catch you. Sounds impossible for Zazzle. This was just another day at the circus. In 1877, she became the world's first human cannonball, catapulting herself into the annals of circus history. Unlike the other performers in this series, Zazzle wasn't famous for a unique condition, but for pushing her body and bravery to the absolute limit. Audiences were spellbound, unable to tear their eyes away as she was shot through the air, defying gravity and death itself. Her act wasn't just thrilling, it was revolutionary. The human cannonball became one of the most dangerous and awe-inspiring stunts in circus history, and Zazzle was the one who started it all. But with such danger comes inevitable risk. Zazzle's career came to a tragic halt when one of her stunts went wrong, resulting in a serious injury. The fearless young woman who had captivated the world was forced to step away from the cannon for good, yet her legacy lives on. Zazzle paved the way for countless daredevils, and her name remains synonymous with courage, danger, and the spectacle of the circus. Grace McDaniels, often referred to as the Mule-Faced Woman, was born in 1888 with a rare condition known as Sturge-Weber syndrome, which resulted in severe facial deformities. Rather than retreating from the world, Grace embraced her uniqueness and became a sideshow attraction, captivating audiences with her unforgettable appearance. She joined the famous freak show circuit, traveling with the Harry Lewiston Circus and other sideshow acts in the mid-20th century. Despite the way the world perceived her, Grace maintained her dignity, even earning the title of the ugliest woman in the world in a contest, an unfortunate reflection of society's often cruel fascination with the different and unusual. Yet, behind the headlines and the stares, she was known to be a kind and loving mother, fiercely protective of her son, who managed her career. Unlike some of the more tragic figures of the sideshow world, Grace McDaniels found some degree of acceptance in her later years, proving that beauty, however it's defined, doesn't lie solely in appearances. Fannie Mills, known as the Ohio Bigfoot Girl, became one of the most bizarre and captivating circus attractions of the late 19th century. Born in 1860, she suffered from a rare condition known as Milroy's disease, which caused her feet to swell to an incredible size, each foot reaching 19 inches long and 7 inches wide. Standing only 5 feet tall, her feet were truly a sight to behold, making her a natural fit for the sideshow circuit. Her shoes, custom-made and often described as large enough to fit to regular-sized feet, became one of her most iconic features. In the 1880s, circus promoters used her unique condition to draw even more attention by offering an astonishing $5,000 to any man who would marry her, a publicity stunt that only increased her notoriety. Fannie's story wasn't just about her physical condition, though. She became a symbol of the odd and the extraordinary, drawing in curious onlookers wherever she performed. While Morris Tillett dominated the wrestling ring with his imposing figure, Fannie Mills mesmerized audiences with her quiet demeanor and unparalleled feat, proving that in the world of sideshow performers, it wasn't just about physical strength, it was about turning the extraordinary into unforgettable entertainment. In the world of the bizarre, few figures stand out quite like Bueno and Plutano, also known as the Wild Men of Borneo. These dwarf brothers captivated audiences not only because of their small stature, but for the fierce personas they portrayed in the circus world. Unlike some of their contemporaries, Bueno and Plutano weren't born with shocking deformities. They were merely small men with extraordinary strength. At just 45 pounds, they could reportedly lift twice their body weight, and their act combined feats of strength with the myth of wild men discovered in the untamed wilderness of Borneo. In reality, Bueno and Plutano were not from Borneo at all, but from Finland. Born as Hiram and Barney Davis, their clever marketing and unique appearance, along with their incredible performances, made them a staple of P.T. Barnum's Circus. The brothers donned their iconic striped outfits and untamed hair, further enhancing the wild image they cultivated for themselves. Audiences couldn't get enough of their ferocious growls and strange behavior, which added to the mystery of their supposed origins. Their performances weren't just about shock. They demonstrated feats of strength that amazed crowds, despite their diminutive size. The legacy of Wayno and Plutano reminds us how often spectacle and myth combine in the world of the circus, creating legends that continue to fascinate us today. Thanks for making it all the way through this bizarre journey. Now it's your turn. Who left you speechless? Who's the most fascinating freak in your eyes? Let us know in the comments below. If you're as captivated by these strange stories as we are, subscribe to Timeless Focus and hit the bell icon. You won't want to miss what's coming next. More mysteries, more wonders, all in one place. Stay tuned. Stay timeless.